A cinematic view of Earth from deep space. The planet slowly rotates in darkness as the camera begins descending toward the Middle East. Modern city lights glow briefly before fading away. Time reverses. Modern civilization disappears. Roads fade. Cities vanish. Only rivers, deserts, and untouched wilderness remain. The Tigris and Euphrates begin to emerge. An ancient animated map appears. The Fertile Crescent is highlighted. The camera zooms into southern Mesopotamia. A glowing marker appears over one city. Uruk. A breathtaking reconstruction of ancient Uruk. Massive defensive walls. Towering temples.
A modern satellite view of Iraq fades in. The camera slowly zooms toward southern Iraq. Ancient river channels begin appearing over the modern landscape. An animated historical map appears. Ancient Sumerian cities illuminate one after another. Eridiyor Lagash Nipakish Uruk. Uruk shines brighter than the others. Present-day ruins of Uruk, Walker. Broken mud brick walls. Excavated temples. Drone shots over the archaeological site. Old excavation photographs fade into modern footage. A cinematic reconstruction transforms the ruins back into a living city. Walls rise from the ground. Temples rebuild themselves. People fill the streets. A breathtaking aerial view reveals the magnificent city of Uruk at sunrise. Its massive defensive walls stretch across the horizon. The first rays of sunlight illuminate towering temples, crowded streets, canals, and thousands of people beginning their day. An animated historical map appears. One by one, the great Sumerian cities emerge. Ur Lagash and Nipak Kish Eridu. Finally, Uruk glows brighter than the others. Ancient trade routes begin connecting every city. River traffic appears across the Euphrates. Life inside Uruk. Merchants negotiate prices. Farmers unload sacks of barley. Potters shape clay vessels. Blacksmiths forge bronze tools. Children run through narrow streets. Priests walk towards the temple. The sun rises over Uruk. The city awakens. Merchants open their stalls. Workers prepare their tools. Suddenly, drums echo through the streets. Everyone stops. The royal guards march ahead as King Gilgamesh appears. The crowd lowers their heads in respect and fear. Gilgamesh walks confidently through the city. He towers over everyone around him. His muscular build, royal robes, and ornate crown command attention. Soldiers follow closely behind. Citizens avoid eye contact. Children hide behind their parents. Construction of Uruk's mighty walls. Thousands of laborers carry enormous mud bricks. Stone rollers move massive blocks. Architects supervise the work. Gilgamesh watches from above, demanding perfection. Inside the royal palace, Gilgamesh sits upon his throne. Generals kneel before him. Officials deliver reports. No one dares question his decisions. His word is absolute law. The people of Uruk whisper among themselves. Families appear worried. Elders gather in secret. Mothers comfort frightened children. The city prospers. But its people quietly suffer beneath their king's overwhelming strength. Inside a magnificent temple, priests kneel before the gods. Incense fills the air. The people pray for relief from their powerful ruler. High above the clouds, the gods observe the city below. The camera reveals Uruk from the heavens. The divine council silently watches Gilgamesh. An unseen decision is about to change history. A pair of hands begins shaping wet clay. A mysterious human figure slowly emerges. The screen fades to black before the face is revealed. On screen, Enkidu fade to black. The prayers of the people rise from the temples of Uruk. Smoke from incense fills the air. The camera ascends through the clouds into the heavens. The gods gather in silent council. Their decision is made. They will create someone capable of challenging Gilgamesh. The goddess Aruru kneels beside a riverbank. She scoops wet clay from the earth. With calm, deliberate movements, she shapes the body of a man. As she breathes life into the clay, the figure slowly begins to move. His eyes open for the first time. Enkidu awakens in the wild. He stands among tall grasses beneath the open sky. Wild gazelles gather around him. Birds land on his shoulders. He drinks directly from the river beside the animals. Following Gilgamesh's instructions, Shamhat journeyed into the wilderness to find the mysterious wild man. There, beside a quiet watering place, she finally saw Enkidu. He lived among the animals. He feared no predator. He knew nothing of cities, kings, or civilization. Patiently, Shamhat earned his trust. Day after day, she introduced him to a world he had never known. As time passed, Enkidu began to change. When he returned to the animals, they no longer accepted him as one of their own. The wilderness that had once been his home now felt strangely distant. Shamhat offered him bread. She taught him to drink beer. She showed him how people clothed themselves and lived together in cities. Little by little, the wild man became human in the eyes of civilization. Then she spoke to him of a great city called Uruk. A city ruled by a king whose strength matched his own. The towering walls of Uruk stand before Enkidu. For the first time, he enters a great city. People stop what they are doing. Merchants, soldiers, and children stare at the wild stranger. Whispers spread through the streets. Shamhat guides Enkidu through the crowded streets. He is amazed by towering buildings, busy markets, temples, and canals. Everything is unfamiliar. He touches mud brick walls and watches craftsmen at work. The city is unlike anything he has ever known. Enkidu overhears citizens discussing King Gilgamesh. They speak of his immense strength and unmatched power. Some admire him. Others quietly fear him. Enkidu's expression changes. He decides he must meet this king. Morning breaks over Uruk. Gilgamesh and Enkidu stand atop the city's mighty walls, looking towards the distant mountains. Beyond those mountains lies a place no ordinary man dares to enter. The legendary Cedar Forest. Inside the royal palace, Gilgamesh announces his bold plan before the elders of Uruk. The elders exchange worried glances. They warn him that the cedar forest is protected by a terrifying guardian feared throughout the world. An animated map appears. A glowing line traces the hero's route from Uruk, following the Euphrates northwards towards the distant cedar-covered mountains. The landscape changes from fertile plains to rocky highlands. Gilgamesh and Enkidu prepare for the expedition. Blacksmiths forge enormous bronze axes and swords. Shields are polished. Supplies are loaded. The people gather to watch the heroes depart. The cedar forest is silent. Towering cedar trees disappear into the mist. Gilgamesh and Enkidu cautiously step deeper into the forest. Every sound echoes through the ancient woods. Suddenly, a deep roar shakes the earth. The enormous guardian Humbaba slowly emerges from the shadows. His gigantic body towers above the ancient trees. His terrifying face and blazing eye strike fear into everything around him. Birds scatter into the sky. The forest itself seems to tremble. Gilgamesh hesitates for a brief moment. Fear appears on his face. Enkidu steps beside him. He reminds his friend that they have come too far to turn back. Gilgamesh tightens his grip on his axe. The battle begins. Gilgamesh charges forward. Enkidu attacks from the side. Humbaba swings massive tree trunks like weapons. The ground cracks beneath their feet. Branches explode into the air. According to the epic, the sun god Shamash sends powerful winds to aid the heroes. Violent gusts surround Humbaba. Dust blinds him. He struggles to move. Gilgamesh sees his opportunity. Humbaba falls to his knees. For the first time, the mighty guardian begs for mercy. He promises to become Gilgamesh's servant if his life is spared. Gilgamesh hesitates. Enkidu warns Gilgamesh not to trust the guardian. He urges him to finish the battle before the gods change their minds. Gilgamesh raises his axe. With one final strike, Humbaba falls. The forest becomes completely silent. Gilgamesh and Enkidu stand victorious among the towering cedar trees. They begin cutting the sacred cedars to carry back to Uruk. Far above them, the gods silently watch. Their expressions are no longer pleased. Fade to black. On screen the gods were watching. Fade out. The gates of Uruk open. Gilgamesh and Enkidu return victorious. The people cheer loudly. Children throw flowers. The enormous cedar logs are carried through the streets. The entire city celebrates the greatest victory in its history. Gilgamesh bathes after the long journey. He dresses in magnificent royal garments. Golden armor reflects the sunlight. His appearance captures the attention of everyone around him. High above, the goddess Ishtar watches him from the heavens. According to the epic, Ishtar descends before Gilgamesh. She offers him love, wealth, and everlasting glory if he becomes her husband. Golden light surrounds her. The city falls silent. Gilgamesh calmly refuses. He reminds Ishtar of the tragic fate of those who loved her before him. As he speaks, brief visions appear of her former lovers meeting sorrowful ends. Ishtar's expression changes from admiration to humiliation to uncontrollable rage. Furious, Ishtar ascends to the heavens. She stands before her father, the sky god Anu. She demands revenge. She insists that the ball of heaven be released upon the city of Uruk. The heavens split apart. The gigantic ball of heaven descends to earth. Its roar shakes the city. The ground cracks beneath its hooves. Buildings collapse. People flee in terror. Gilgamesh and Enkidu stand together once again. Without hesitation, they charge towards the monstrous beast. Enkidu distracts the ball. Gilgamesh delivers the decisive strike. The ball of heaven collapses. The city is saved. High above the clouds, the gods silently observe the fallen bull. Their faces are filled with anger. The celebration below continues, unaware that a terrible judgment has already been made. Fade to black. On screen the gods demand a price. Fade out. According to the epic, the gods could not ignore what had happened. Humbaba, guardian of the cedar forest, had fallen. The bull of heaven had been slain. A punishment had to be given. The divine council made its decision. Enkidu would die. Soon afterwards, terrifying dreams haunted him. He saw the judgment of the gods and the dark realm awaiting every mortal. Day by day, his strength faded. The mighty warrior who had once wrestled Gilgamesh now struggled to lift his own head. In his pain, Enkidu cursed the hunter who had found him and the events that had changed his life. But before the end, his anger gave way to gratitude. He realized that through friendship, purpose, and love, his life had gained meaning. Then, Enkidu breathed his last. Gilgamesh refused to accept what had happened. Enkidu's grave stands alone beneath a grey sky. Gilgamesh kneels in silence. His royal robes are covered with dust. His face is filled with grief. He slowly rises, leaves the city behind, and walks alone into the wilderness. Gilgamesh wanders across endless deserts. He climbs mountains. He crosses dangerous rivers. His beard grows long. His clothes become worn and torn. The mighty king no longer looks like a ruler. He has become a lonely traveler. Gilgamesh reaches the twin peaks of Marshu. Gigantic mountains rise into the heavens. Two terrifying scorpion men guard the entrance. Their glowing eyes examine the exhausted king. Utnapishtim and Gilgamesh sit beside the silent waters of death. The old man gazes across the endless sea. His expression is calm, yet filled with memories older than kingdoms themselves. Gilgamesh listens in complete silence. A cold wind begins to blow. The image slowly fades into an ancient Mesopotamian city. People fill busy streets. Markets overflow with merchants. Children play. Farmers work nearby. Without warning, the sky begins to darken. According to the epic, the gods become angry with humanity. Within the divine council, a decision is made. A great flood will wash away every living thing. Gilgamesh sits quietly before Utnapishtim. The old man studies the exhausted king. After a long silence, he speaks. If you seek immortality, first prove that you can conquer sleep. Gilgamesh nods confidently. He believes the challenge will be easy. Gilgamesh sits upon a stone. He struggles to remain awake. Minutes pass. His eyes grow heavy. His breathing slows. Finally, he collapses into deep sleep. Days pass in a cinematic time-lapse. Utnapishtim's wife places one loaf of bread beside him each day. 7 loaves slowly become old and dry. Gilgamesh suddenly awakens. He insists that he slept only for a moment. Utnapishtim silently points towards the 7 loaves. Each loaf tells of the passing of another day. Gilgamesh lowers his head. For the first time, he realizes that he could not even defeat sleep. Moved by compassion, Utnapishtim reveals one final secret. Deep beneath the sea grows a mysterious plant. Its power can restore youth to an old man. Hope returns to Gilgamesh's eyes. Without hesitation, he prepares to dive. Gilgamesh ties heavy stones to his feet. He sinks into the dark depths. Ancient underwater plants sway in the current. Finally, he discovers the miraculous plant. Carefully, he cuts it free and rises back to the surface. He smiles for the first time since Enkidu's death. During the journey home, Gilgamesh stops beside a clear spring to rest. He places the plant nearby and enters the water. While he is gone, a serpent silently approaches. It swallows the plant. As it crawls away, it sheds its skin. Gilgamesh returns too late. The plant is gone forever. Gilgamesh falls to his knees. He stares at the empty ground. Then he begins the long journey back to Uruk. As he approaches the city, the magnificent walls rise before him once again. Children laugh. Merchants work. Life continues. Gilgamesh stands upon the mighty walls of Uruk. He looks across the city he helped build. The camera slowly rises higher and higher. The city becomes smaller, then fades into the ancient ruins of modern-day Uruk. Finally, the screen fades to black. On screen, the greatest legacy is not eternal life. It is what we leave behind. Fade out.